What's going on, everybody? Stepping in for our boy T Nick. He might step in a little bit later, but as of right now, you guys gonna have to deal with me, your man 5 Mile C, bro, my homie, Grogu here with me. So today we're gonna be talking about this draft, and we're gonna talk about what happened over the weekend as far as with the combine, some of the rumors and things that was going on. Yeah, I know, right? That's the same way I feel. Talk about some of these rumors and potential trades. Who looked good in the combine and who didn't look good in the combine? Yeah. We're talking about all that today on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. And we're going to have a special guest with us tonight. So you guys stick in, stay tuned. Let's go. Ain't that right, bro?
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but honestly, they don't know shit.
These summer league games and they tell you about these new up and coming coaches.
I think we should get rid of every motherfucking owner in Chicago.
Enzo and Caruso, both when they are on the court, are like your defensive generals.
But they need to get that strong safety who's not scared to hit somebody.
They really don't know shit.
Welcome everyone to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. It's your boy 5 Mile C. Like I said earlier, we're gonna be talking about the draft. Some of the rumors or whatnot. I'm sort of excited about this episode today. We're gonna have Mr. Fred Miller with us, who used to be a former offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. That's gonna be a great conversation to talk with him about, what he thinks about the Bears, see if he still follows the Bears. What do you think about our quarterback situation as well? Because there's been a lot of talk about Justin, from these national so-called pundits talking about how they need to trade him or how they won't trade him or how they wouldn't trade him or how they would trade him. Especially that one guy, Colin Coward, fucking really listens to that dude. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Also, when you're in the chat, leave some comments. Let us know what we need to do to improve. If we need anything to improve, what you would like to see. Would you like us to answer more questions and things of that nature? Let us know. We'd be more than willing to sit up there and answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and kick this off with the Dream Team. I'm going to start it off with my stat man who knows everything from the 80s, 90s, to 2000s. Shit, I think he even knows some shit in the 70s, and I don't really think, well, he was born a little bit in the 70s. My man, the stat man, JB.
What up, Sal?
What up, JB?
Dude, chilling, man. Just this is the way.
This is the way. Ain't that right? That's the way? Is this the way? Huh? This the way? Oh, no, he quiet now. He ain't got nothing to say. Camera got on, now he shy. Before then, he was shy. Now he shy. That's how it goes.
Right. Man, that was good watching the Underwear Olympics, though, man. Like we saw, as usual, every year we see somebody that just, leaps across the board to the top end. It's one thing. Long time ago, Warren Sapp told us, he told a combine scout, he said, hey, man, there's no weight bench on the 50-yard line. And that man's a Hall of Famer. So I don't get overly impressed with the combine, but it is good to see what some people can do, what their attributes are moving forward. But still, 4 days of fun. I saw some people that we need to keep our eye on in the later rounds. But it just, just watching the combine just made me think like, man, where are we really going to go? Because I see a lot of talent in rounds 2 and 3 that we probably should pick up. Just wondering if we will.
Yeah, I mean, it was so many different trade talks and so many different rumors that was going on, while they were down there. At least that's what we were all hearing about, how far the Bears willing to trade down. Like there's teams and the teams that's willing to come on up. Pose is listening to me. He only gotten offers from a first this year, a first in 2024, and a first in 2025. So it's really up to Ryan Pose. He's going to sit up here. He's going to set the draft on fire. Whatever decision that he makes, whether he decides to keep it, which I think is not likely, or he decides to sit up there and trade, which I think is very much likely is what he's going to do. He's going to be the person that got the keys to this draft, and that's going to let us know how this shit is going to shape out.
So let me ask you that before we bring on our next, before we bring on Tank, what would you consider fair? Because right now, we've been hustled before as Bears fans with the number 2 pick. And I really don't want them trading outside the top 10 because when you get one of those blue chip type, game changers, like we haven't had one in so long, man. It would be nice just to get we don't get the Sauce Gardners, you know what I'm saying? We don't get the Aaron Donalds. We get the guy that turns into that after time, but we don't get that guy like right off top that you just know is that dude. And I don't think we should go too far. If we get still in the top 10 with another pick this year or, some seconds and thirds or whatever, and then some future draft capital for 24 and 25, cool. But I don't want just a bunch of future picks, 24, 25, 26, 27, and here we're still terrible.
Well, I wouldn't drop down. Me personally, if I was the GM running the Bears, we'd be a lot better than what the fuck we are. But anyway, if I was the GM, I wouldn't sit up there and I wouldn't go probably past 5.
Oh,
unless
5?
I got multiple picks in this first round. Now, you can say we can make a move where we sit up there and we do something where we trade with the Texans. We get their second and their 12th pick.
Right.
And then sit up there and trade that second pick and jump down there to the Colts and get, their 4th. What was it? Their 4th.
So we would get their 4th, and then they have
if I felt like being saucy,
next year,
I would check Seattle's temperature and see if I can sit up there and finagle them out of their 2 first-round picks to see how thirsty they are.
They don't
drop down to number 5, and you got the 12, and then I think they got something like the number 20 or something like that. So you got 5,
Seattle,
12.
Well, remember, they
20.
Pick dropped because they went to the playoffs, right? They went to.
So you got 5, 12, and 20, 3 first rounders, and you still might be able to get that blue chip guy that you want.
Yeah. I would like that, man. But like I said, I'm just hoping they're not looking at the forest for the trees, man. And I mean, missing the forest for the trees because getting them extra picks, man, we know what we can do with it. But I mean, generational talent. I mean, and nobody knows what's generational right now. Hell, I believe Aaron Donald a 3rd round pick. George Kittle was a 5th round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't know.
It's a crapshoot. That's one thing about it. It's a crapshoot. Always has been, always will be a crapshoot. People that's supposed to be great, can't miss prospects, end up sometimes being bust, and people that's supposed to be not so good end up being great. So, right. But with that being said, we don't want to go further in. Let's go on and bring on our man, the big man, Frank the Tank.
What up, what up, what up?
What up, bro? So you starting early with your beer?
Yeah, I figured I got to finish a whole boot.
Yeah.
Got to drink that boot. So you can always keep hearing the bubble on the podcast every once in a while when I get halfway through.
Man, you see our boy Baby Yoda, he's joining us for the 2nd week in a row.
Yeah, he's got them black eyes. What did he drink?
He might become a regular on the show.
I wouldn't mind it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let
He's
us know
very
in the chat. Let us
knowledgeable of
know
the
should we
Force.
keep Grogu on with us. I know his schedule be kind of tight because he got the Mandalorian and all that. He's using the Force and all that type of stuff. So let us know. Yeah, Frank, we were just sitting up there talking about, the draft and the combine and everything that came out of it. Some guys that stock may have failed, Jaylen Carter. Some guys whose stock may have rise, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
He was one of the main talks in the combine, about his vertical leap, his broad jump, him running the 40, how big he is. And sometimes people are prisoners of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what do you think? Did you get a chance to check out the draft?
I just saw a little bit of highlights. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't get to really see nearly as much as I wanted to.
I mean, the combine. I'm sorry.
One thing I did notice that this is a real deep cornerback draft. It looks like we might be able to get some pretty damn good cornerbacks after that 5th round.
All right.
Because I mean, they were looking good. Some people that were not projected to go in the top 5 rounds still looked really good. Small, but fast and really aggressive towards the ball, and that's some good stuff. And I mean, one thing that I noticed on, and I posted on the podcast page if anyone's watching wanted to check it out, but that Andrew Voorhees, the offensive lineman.
The Torres ACL or something.
Yeah, he tore his ACL and then still came back afterwards and benched 30. I know Warren Sapp said, and I agree with him, there is no 50-yard line, a bench on the 50-yard line, but still what he did to come back just to do that for everybody, that was pretty impressive. And it's somebody 5th, 6th round, if he's still available, he was supposed to be a 1st-round draft pick. It might be a project to try to get him to rehab that knee better, but that might be a steal if you're going to be talking about the 5th, 6th round.
Oh yeah, definitely. It just goes and shows his love for the game.
Yeah,
for someone to
absolutely.
sit up there and go through have a devastating injury like that, and then still come back and sit up there and do the bench press. That's going to ring some bells. That's going to sit up there and let some GMs and teams know, like, hey, this guy's a real deal. This is a guy that won't quit on me. This is a guy that's going to give it his all towards ACL, and he still decided to sit up there and come do the bench press.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny that you said that too, with the love of the game, because I know somebody who's supposed to be a top 4 pick that a lot of people are questioning his love for the game, and that's Jaylen Carter.
Yeah,
hearing a lot of rumors out there when it comes down to that.
But I want to go back to Voorhees because actually he was on my list. For those that don't know, he plays tackle at USC, and he protected Caleb Williams, of many who say is going to be the #1 pick next year.
Yeah.
We saw USC had a resurgence; they had a pretty good line, and Voorhees was pretty instrumental in that. So you hate to see, that type of prospect go down. Just a good kid, man. That, we need here in Chicago. Some maulers with some grit and some IQ. He was my first tackle that I wanted. My first guard that I wanted because we need some interior help.
I would have liked to see him possibly even slip to the 2nd round that the Bears would have had before the ACL injury, but I don't think that would have happened. I mean, that would have been like if you drafted or you traded all the way back to 20 and then you got him with the 20th pick before that ACL and a boatload of extra picks. I wouldn't have been mad.
Yeah.
Well, we have to replace that. Remember, we have to replace that 2nd round that we lost. Well, not lost, but we used to get Claypool because we don't have our 2nd round pick.
We got a late 2nd rounder now.
Right. So if we were to, jump back in and get some draft capital this year in the 2nd round, somebody like that who's proven, absolutely, I would have taken him with my first pick in the 2nd round, like without question.
Yeah, well, it's definitely like I said, Poles is going to control this. He's going to control the draft as far as when it comes down to that #1 pick. I really hope that these quarterbacks show out. Now you're hearing people talk about CJ Stroud a lot, which I love. Talk about him. Make it a heavy competition.
Make sure everybody wants.
Hell, I want to see Will Levis step up. I want to hear more about him. Start hyping him up a little bit.
He was slanging that ball. Him and Richardson have 2 of the best deep balls I've seen at the combine this year. Like, they were effortlessly just flick. And, depending on what team you get drafted to, that might fall right in their wheelhouse. But something that we have to take into consideration too, y'all, is now only 3 out of the 5 teams that we thought needed a quarterback need a quarterback. Because with the talk
Carr
about
going to the
Carr going to not going, he went. He's
Yeah.
insane.
well going.
And
as
I'm
in-
trying to figure out how the hell that shit even work because free agency ain't even started yet.
Look,
it's more of like it's a guaranteed. It's
they're
gonna.
waiting to hit the send button.
Yeah.
At 11.
It's in the draft. It's in the draft on the email.
Is that
right?
considered tampering?
Good question.
I mean, last time I checked, free agency started March 15th or some shit. So
I mean,
is that
but
considered tampering? I don't know.
Hey.
but that just tells you. But look, that tells you right now. Do you see any other team that needs a quarterback trying to jump and grab Jameis Winston? Does he go and back up? Does he go to Denver and back up Russ because he was, with Sean Payton reunion? I don't know.
One thing that I feel that we don't do on this show, we don't sit up there and we don't answer some of the questions that, that our people watching ask the chat. So let's start answering some questions. Like your mom, she got a good question.
Your mom just put up a good question.
What do you guys think about the possibility of Aaron Rodgers becoming a Jet?
That's going to be a damn good team, man. I'll tell you
honestly,
that for sure, but it's out of the NFC.
We're going to answer that, then we're going to bring our guest in. Yeah. Let's go ahead. We start out with you, JB. It's your mama. It's your mama, JB. Right. So we're going to start off with you.
It's the podcast,
Great question, Mom. Great question. I'm twofold with that because, great, get him up out of our division finally. Tired of seeing him. Help us help you. But then, dang, he go to the Jets, man. He might win. Like, I can see him going to that AFC Championship against Mahomes. I can see it. Now, will he win? I don't know, but it gives him a great chance. And that might just have become the toughest division in football if he goes to the Jets. Real talk.
Okay. What you think, Frank?
I'm gonna be happy as hell to see him get out of the NFC North. That's all I'm gonna say. But when it's all said and done, I know all this bullshit crap going out there saying the Packers want him. The Packers can't do anything without him right now. Because Jordan Love, I don't know if he's ready. Does anyone else think he's ready? I mean, we haven't seen him to know that he's ready yet.
I mean, they didn't think Aaron Rodgers was ready until they found out he was ready.
That is true. Yeah, he sat for some years too behind Brett Favre. So it is what it is. What's good, my man? A Stewart, what's good? Jeremy, thanks for the knowledge right there. So you know what? I guess Mr. Fred Miller, he's ready to come on. So before we actually bring him in, let's check out some highlights. Mr. Fred Miller, his time with the Chicago Bears, baby.
It's Miller time.
Okay. Got them good highlights of Fred when he was sitting up there playing. So, man, I was sitting up there thinking, I was like, man, there was some good years when he was playing offensive tackle for us, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he had Sexy Rexy back there throwing the ball. Man, That was the year we went to the Super Bowl, wasn't it? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
he
right?
was there, I think, 4 years. 4 years, but definitely we went to the Super Bowl
Yeah,
that year.
definitely did.
That Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones was in the backfield.
Yeah, Thomas Jones. Yeah, that's a damn sure made
Left.
me sit up there. Remember? Yeah, Thomas Jones. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Is Fred still? Is he still
Yep.
having
I
some
mean,
sort of?
I think he's ready. We're gonna
He's
give
ready.
it a shot.
All
We
right,
ready
we
for
gonna
it?
go ahead, bring in the big fella.
Bring him in.
Bring in the big fella.
Mr. Miller, how you
All
doing,
right.
sir?
Not bad.
What's
How's it
going
going?
on, brother?
You having a little bit of issues there? What's going on?
Yeah, I have a little technical difficulties.
What's going
How
on,
you
Fred? How
been?
you feel?
Good, man. Man, just tired. Just running around with kids, man. You know how that goes. Life.
Oh, man, do we? Do we know
Life.
how it goes? They're a handful, ain't they?
Oh gosh, a handful. You know,
So,
especially when I started over. So I have, two from a previous marriage of
mhm.
23 and 21. Then I have my three now, which are 5, 7, and 9.
Woo.
They're getting there.
So,
Yeah. And they so full of energy. I already know it.
man,
I'm
they
gonna
I'm
say,
about to
are.
say you
are they
got a
already
lot of
suiting up?
energy on your hands.
Are they already
Right.
suiting up? Are they playing?
What's that?
They playing any Pop Warner yet?
Oh yeah. Well, so we're in baseball season right now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
yep.
Okay. So they out there playing Little League.
Where you
You
at, Fred?
traveling to all the games?
Yeah, man, trying to keep keep them going the baseball route, keep all the physicality. Let them find something to do that's a little less strenuous on the body.
Yeah. You know what? I do find a lot of former NFL players saying that like they don't really want their kids to get into playing football. You know, I guess because of the experiences that you guys have gone and went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know, I don't mind them playing football. My two older boys are playing football, and but also too, you can't ignore the other sports, especially sports that are like I say, just lower impact on the body, man. You just
mhm.
your quality of life afterwards is it's a tons better. Just I have all kinds of aches and pains right now, and and I need an ankle replacement, and I'm only
Oh.
50 years old, and so it's
Mhm.
you know it's taxing on the body,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's rewarding. You pay
Yeah.
well, and it afforded me to provide a life for for my family members, my mom and my sisters, and so I can't complain.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Like you said, you saying it was basically worth the sacrifice.
It's definitely worth the sacrifice. It's a sacrifice, but I know going into it, it's that's just part of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So tell me, do you still follow the Bears now?
I do a little bit,
Mhm.
especially this nonsense about trading my Fields. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
the biggest nonsense in the world, especially if they think what the guy measured at 5'10", 100 and
Talking about Bryce Young, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 5'9", I think. Yeah, 5'9", 180 something pounds or
No,
something.
right,
5'10", 204.
Behind the offensive line that
5'10",
we
204.
have, that's signing your death
man.
sheet right there.
I don't care what offensive line you had, man. That's small, man.
Yeah.
It's grown
Yeah.
men. It's grown men in the NFL, boy. Man, I remember Steve McNair. We were playing the Steelers, and he fumbled the ball right before the half. And I'm thinking, you know what? I can pick this up. Get us down the field, and maybe maybe put 6 points on the board. Man, as soon as I picked that ball up and ran probably about 3 yards, those dudes were hitting me from left and right. I was like, whoa. I'm like, this is a little bit more contact than what I'm used to. I was like, man, man, these boys are hitting. I'm like, yeah. I'm glad I'm not playing running back like Eddie George having to take all these hits.
Yeah.
Because man, those dudes are coming.
Yeah, they are. Because I know, like when we've gone and had guests on here previously, a lot of offensive linemen we've gone and had, and also at other positions. A lot of the guys, like after they done and retired, they really don't watch
Yeah,
football like that anymore. And
right.
I was always trying to get like, it's a sport that you play, a sport that you guys love. Just wondering like why you guys don't play it anymore.
You know, you know, especially for linemen,
Hmm.
you know, it's a lot easier for positions that don't have as much contact talk about how much they love the game.
Right.
You know, football is the only sport where you actually practice more than you play.
Okay.
So, you know, you spend a year preparing for those, you know, it was 16 weeks when, you know, when I was playing 16 weeks plus, your postseason. Now it's what, 17 weeks in your postseason.
Right.
And you spend all that time practicing for just a few weeks. And, it's grueling and it's taxing on your body, especially with how much hitting offensive linemen do, offense and defensive linemen do every single day.
Hmm.
You know, quarterbacks don't hit every day. Receivers don't,
They don't even get hit
necessarily
every
hit
day.
every day.
Yeah,
But
quarterbacks don't even get hit every day.
right,
Man, that's two-hand touch up on them. You don't
right,
touch them.
exactly. So it's a lot easier for a Tom Brady, who wants to play, 20 something years, and when you don't have to hit every day in practice, and practice is really, it's really pretty easy for him. Then going into the game, that's when he has to worry about the hits versus, offensive defensive lineman. You're hitting every single day, and it's just more taxing on the body, and it's you find less guys who will say that, oh yeah, it was just all for the love of the game. Yeah, we love the game and we love aspects of the game, but when you're done, man, you're done. Your body's just like,
Yeah, it shuts
I'm
down,
done.
man.
You know,
Yeah, we actually had one of the questions from one of our guys because we had Big Cat Williams on here not too long ago,
oh
and
yeah.
he was like, "Are you bigger than Big Cat?"
Big Cat and I were probably about the same height, but his playing weight was heavier than mine. I think Big Cat probably played at about probably 340 or so, and I
Woo!
played at about 320, 325.
Still big boys.
Yeah,
Damn, y'all some big boys, man.
yeah,
Still some big boys.
Hey, that's a prime example why you sit up there and say some big boys in the
Yeah.
league, man.
oh yeah, man, those man.
Yeah.
And shoot, the cats are getting bigger, man.
Hmm.
You see, actually, they kind of went to a trend where linemen are getting a little smaller with all the
It is
passing that
smaller
they're
and
doing.
faster.
Yeah.
Right, so they're getting a little smaller now.
Because I was always wondering, well, I know you was talking about Justin Fields. I wanted to get your take on Justin Fields. What do you think about Justin
I
Fields?
like I like him a lot. I like him
Hmm.
a lot. I think I think the Bears wasn't sold on him. I think they probably still not sold on him.
New
And then
regime.
he kind of I think they were trying to make him into a traditional just pocket passing quarterback from the beginning. And I can understand that because the more you stay in the pocket, the healthier you're going to stay as a
Yeah,
quarterback.
agreed.
You get out the pocket, then you're at a 50-50. Like I say, those dudes are coming, you know. And
Hmm.
so but then towards the middle of the season, he started playing pretty good ball. And that's when they traded the linebacker and traded the defensive lineman. And then they actually had a shot to try to make a playoff run.
Yeah.
And with them trading those two pieces on the defense, it was almost kind of like they waved the white flag.
Right.
And then, but here they are waving the white flag, but then now Fields is, he's kind of turning the corner where, okay, this guy can probably be a playoff quarterback, and we can probably have some success behind him.
Yeah.
So
Just got to get him help now.
right. And with them getting rid of those pieces on defense, gosh, man, it's kind of
we always talk about that in this show because me and Fowler are on the same page, but JB was not. When they traded Roquan and all that, I kind of felt like I know players don't do this. Players do not tank. But the front office knew they weren't going anywhere this year with the people that they had, and they wanted to solidify draft picks for this year and go for next year because they put themselves $127 million in salary cap that they can spend this upcoming season.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, I think they pulled the trigger a little too quick because they actually had a shot to make it in the playoff. They had a shot. They had a legitimate shot last year when Fields turned the corner. But you get rid of those pieces, you get rid of Roquan, then now you're deficient on the defense. So I can see what they were trying to do, but I think they pulled the trigger too fast.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was saying. I think they did it the wrong way.
You're right, and especially when you have you got a guy like Mark Fields who I think that you can build a program around. He's a big guy. He's athletic. He can throw every throw you want him that there is in the book. So smart guy. I just think that I just think they pulled the trigger too soon to write off the season because they actually legitimately had a chance.
Well, I do feel like they wanted to keep Roquan. I kind of felt like that. But and I'd like to get your take on this too, because when you literally had like really nothing else on that defense other than Roquan, are you going to pay somebody $20 million a year when you need to build a lot more pieces around him to actually be a successful defense?
Well, the staple of the Bears for the last, since Dick Buckus is a strong linebacker crew. Yeah. Here you have it in Roquan, and you get rid of him. Me myself, I would have kept him. Because you build a defense around him, and and then you just gotta hope, that your draft picks coming up pan out, because you can't build a team out of free agency. You gotta have your draft picks gotta pan out, and so then they just have to pick well moving forward. And like I say, I don't think that they were sold on Fields. Like I say, they probably still not sold on him if they're still talking about getting rid of him over, for Bryce Young.
I think it's all talk. And it's talk to the point where it's good because more people who think that we want a quarterback to pick in the draft are going to give us more to make sure that we go out and get a quarterback with that number one pick. That's how I look at it.
Well, what do you mean by give us more?
Like for the number one overall pick.
Right. So, yeah, that could be a play.
Because I think he literally just went up to him and been like, listen, there's going to be a lot of talk. Right. There might be rumors going around that we're going to trade you. It's not going to happen, dude.
Right.
Just take it.
Right.
We're going to get more weapons around you with these extra picks.
That's a legitimate play. That's a legitimate play.
Yeah.
And,
so tell me, Fred.
So hold on. Let me ask you this, Fred, before you go on. Because one of the things that I watched, Hall of Fame quarterback that you protected and won your first Super Bowl with, spoke very highly of Justin Fields and the way he throws the ball, and asked why they don't throw the ball more. So do you think it's more or less the new regime doesn't have the faith, or because they're rookies themselves, they're kind of still trying to feel their way too, not realizing what they really have with Justin as a passer?
Well, it's two things. One, you're playing in Chicago with inclement weather. Mm-hmm. So that's going to limit your passing attack as well. Two, Yeah, I don't think they wanted to give him just a ton of throws because then, that's just higher probability he's going to get beat up. So, and, depending on what your O-line situation is.
Mhm.
So, I think moving forward, I think they probably will start opening it up. It's become a passing game now.
Yeah.
NFL, if you don't have a legit passing game, then you have no chance. It's no more running, running back game, Walter Payton type of no.
Mhm.
That's not the NFL. It's all about the receivers and the quarterback being able to get the ball downfield in big chunks. Then that will open up the running game. So I would like to see them keep Fields and maybe go after trade that pick and go after maybe a lineman and go after a receiver.
Well, I was going to ask you, Fred, um, since we're talking about Justin Fields, you played with a quarterback that was similar to Justin. I actually remember being in high school,
Yeah,
and they had him, I think, on Sports Illustrated talking about Air McNair, Alcorn State,
yeah.
possible Heisman Trophy guy. Just tell me a little bit about you playing with Steve back then, and how is it more difficult to block for guys that are pure passers, or is it
That was going to
more
be one of
difficult
my
blocking
questions.
with guys that are more
Right.
mobile with their feet? So tell us about your
Wow.
time back then when you were
Right. You know, it's more difficult passing for a mobile quarterback
playing.
because
Whatever lineman says,
the
I'm talking.
mobile quarterback likes to drift backwards, which tackles hate because you're making that corner for the defensive end, you're stretching it out to where he can get, that he can turn that corner a lot easier than a guy who only drops back, 5 to 7 yards and step up in the pocket, a la Tom Brady, a la Peyton Manning. Those guys don't get sacked a lot because they're not taking deep drops, putting the tackles in bad and tough situations, and then they step up and they're getting rid of the ball fairly quick. So it's much easier blocking for pocket quarterbacks. Much easier. The athletic quarterback, he's going to drop back, and when he don't see something, then he's steady dropping back, keeping deeper and deeper because he's ready to get out. He's
And
ready to
then
take
it
off
gets
running,
blamed
and
on the
he's
offensive tackles.
right.
When he
And
gets
so he's
sacked,
not
it's
going to take off
blamed on you
running through the
guys.
middle. He's going to take off, on the edges. So
Mhm.
it's much tougher, much tougher. So when those guys are like that and want to get out on those edges, and man, they're kind of on their own. And you just got, you realize, and you just got to feel it that these guys like to get deep, and you just got to be, make sure you're ready for that.
Oh,
So how was that with the greatest show on turf? Because now on the flip side, a quarterback that runs, now you got a quarterback that is going to throw the ball 40 times a game, and the defense
Right.
knows it's coming.
Yeah,
Right.
you would, yeah, man.
It was so that first year in '99.
Mhm.
People didn't. So the NFL is like this. Your first year, you get a new system, new coach, new quarterback. They don't know you, so you're going to get away with a lot of stuff.
Okay.
The second year, you're going to get away with less because now they got a whole offseason to plan for you, learn your tendencies, and they're going to play your strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
That third year, you have to I wouldn't say totally change, but you have to come up with a new mousetrap. You cannot do the same things that you did those first 2 years.
So speak about that too,
So-
because if I'm not mistaken, you had three coaches before you had two coaches before Vermeil came, and you had who was it, Tony Banks and Mark Rippon and them?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so you had a whole cluster of just different stuff going on.
Right. So, but let me go back. So let me go back to Marks.
Marks.
Marks, March was kind of like Bill Walsh, where Bill Walsh came in with the West Coast offense and a lot of short passes, using those short passes instead of runs. So March would do a lot of motions. So then the motions would tell us what the defense is going to do.
Right.
And so we would go into offensive meetings and March would say, okay, they're going to do this, this, and this, throw the ball here. And like clockwork, that's all the quarterback had to do. That's all Warner had to do is just throw the ball where March told him to throw it. It wasn't a whole lot of thinking in it. Where the thought came was March calling all those plays with all the motions, all the different formations, and changing it around. We were doing the same thing, but it was just a whole bunch of different formations and motions that made it look like we were doing something totally different.
Okay.
But then, with Isaac was smart as hell. Torrey was smart. Marshall Faulk was probably one of the smartest, football players I've ever played with. And so they'd go and say, okay, this is what they're doing. We'll do this. And, we could change it on the fly just like that. No other offense I played with did that. It was, it was more vanilla and kind of cut and dry. Steve was a guy that he didn't like to read a bunch of different defenses. So where Steve had his success, he wanted to go empty backfield. So go empty backfield. So then Steve would, Steve know, all right, I got 5 offensive linemen. If they bring more than 5, then he's hot. I know I got to either get rid of the ball or I got to beat him. And Steve always felt, okay, I can always beat any guy who's going to try to blitz. I can get away from him. So just block the guys where you don't get me on my blind side. I can take care of the guys on the front side. So so Steve was more like a street baller. He just like, okay, just get these guys running all these routes out here. And if you bring one more than I can see, I know it. I know where that guy's coming from. I can make a hot throw off him, or I can take care of him with my legs. Totally different than what Martz and Warner did. Totally different. Martz and Warner, it was all precision, timing. We would go through practices. Well, we'll go through our Friday practices, and the receivers and Warner's like, it's perfect practice. So that meant not a ball would touch the ground. It was absolutely amazing watching these dudes run routes, perfect balls, nothing touching the ground. We'll go and so, we'll probably have probably about 70, 80 plays, on that Friday. Not a ball touched the ground.
So how many balls touched the ground?
It's absolutely perfect.
How many balls touched the ground when Grossman was there?
Yeah, dude, it was just, man, it was amazing and watching them work once we kind of, so that year before we were 4-12. So we didn't really know how to win.
Yeah.
And after probably 5 games of that 99 season, and we were like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we win. Then guys start getting a lot of confidence and figuring it out. Okay, this is what winning football looks like. Then we were golden. Then we were good to go.
Well, you're saying the Bears got a chance, huh?
The Bears,
we should get that meme on here. Everybody's got a chance.
No.
I hate that they got rid of Roquan. They needed that. To me, they needed that leadership. He's a great player, and I think he would have been great to build a defense around. So now you're back at square one on the defense, and you're trying to find players to build it around. Like I say, I think you got the quarterback. You need to get him some weapons to help him out. But the quarterback gives you a chance. If you there's no way you can have a run, make a run to the postseason without the quarterback. And you got that. You got that in Mark Fields. I think you can do that.
We got.
So why does it seem like we can't block?
I
hate to do that to you, Fred.
That's probably some things they need to upgrade on. Is to get some offensive linemen in there, and
But would you, Fred, like cut like pretty much mostly all the offensive line and start over, because all these guys are very young. Other than your center, who God forbid if he is here next year, I am going to pop a blood vessel.
Right.
Other than him, everybody else is pretty young.
No, I wouldn't get rid of. I think offensive line, you could pick some people up in free agency.
Yeah, veteran help.
You can do that. If there's something out there in the draft that they can trade that first pick and pick up some extra picks and get a first round offensive lineman, then I think that can work out. But I would definitely get him some help on the offensive line and probably a receiver or a really good tight end. If you can find something in the tight, find something.
I think our system kind of needs to use tight ends a little bit more.
Yeah,
we didn't really use them other than blocking. We didn't really use our tight ends to pass that much until he went through that one stretch where, and this was where how you brought it up, Justin Fields being mobile so well.
Right.
Like everybody on this podcast that we talk to does not want him to keep doing as much running as he does. Right. Because you're not going to have a long career.
Right.
All right. But this year, when he started using those bootleg outs, those push outs, getting outside the pocket, people were pretty much rushing our offensive line differently, which was opening up his pocket passing too.
Right.
So it's just keeping people guessing.
Right. Well, like I say, also too, the running opens up the passing lanes. It makes those linebackers suck up closer to the line of scrimmage and leaves the middle of the field open. So that works, and we see it, especially now the way that the game is going with the mobile quarterback and doing a lot of the read zone and the RPOs. So yeah, you got to use it, man. It's phenomenal, and it's making the game a lot easier for these. It's making it where these mobile quarterbacks can be successful at the NFL level because you just don't have to be a pocket passer. Now you just got to find a way to stay healthy with it, So, be able to still get down the field, do the things that you want in the passing game, but stay healthy with it, and so you can make a run to the postseason.
And we'll be safe to say Lamar Jackson, as great as he is, how many playoff games has he really played in? He's always nicked up and beat up.
And he's won one. He's 1-2.
Yeah, but I mean, he should have more. He's just always nicked up, beat up, and hurt.
But to that point, though, what Fred just said, but like Fred, doesn't that go to like you had a great tandem with you? Like we love watching your career, right? Yeah. You and Pace. You and people don't remember Brad Hopkins was a Pro Bowler. Remember? Yeah. And then you and John Tate, like you, every team you've been on, you've been that anchor. Because I remember because I was a Rams fan back in the day. Like I like Lawrence Phillips. I'm not gonna lie, I did. But like always synonymous with great line play, and it's no like wonder that every team that you were on that had a good line went far.
Yeah, yeah. Well. That's the thing. I've been, so my first, I've been blessed to be with some really good teams. The first 3 years of my NFL career, we were just, as a Rams, we were terrible. We were talented. We had the talent, but we were terrible and didn't know how to win. Plus, we didn't have a quarterback. And to be a quarterback in the NFL, you just not have to be mature, but you have to be, man, just extraordinarily mature, way above what the other players do, or what the other players are. It's so the game is so different for the quarterback than it is for an offensive lineman, for a running back, for all the other positions. The game is the same.
Mhm.
The quarterback position is totally different, and that's why for Kyler Murray to say that he doesn't study, for
It
them
was
to put
weird, right?
for them to
Studies
put
Call of
that,
Duty.
right, man, that's terrible, absolutely terrible, terrible. And
I'm at that point where it's just like he keeps blaming the coaches. Why do you put something like that in my contract? Like that's not. I was like, there's a
Right.
reason why they do that. Dude.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't just
Heck yeah.
randomly think of that.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the contract negotiating. They were hesitant to give him a contract.
Right.
And you see why? Because the guy isn't committing himself to do what it takes to be successful. You're not going to be successful not studying and knowing where to go and what to do with the ball every single moment. And I'm talking about the pre-snap looks before the ball is snapped. You should have an idea what's going to go on. This whole, he's so used to being the best athlete on the field. He's not that anymore. There's great athletes out there on the field now.
Oh yeah.
And being that you're short too, so now you have to drop back even deeper. You're short. You can't see over the line. You can't throw the little check down stuff in the middle of the field. You're putting the tackles in, impossible situations. So now the only thing you can do to be successful is run.
Yeah.
You run, they're going to hit you small already. They're going to hit you and break you up. You're going to stay injured.
And correct me if I'm wrong on that. And that was Rex Grossman's biggest issue too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was not big, small hands. There was way too many times I saw him backpedaling.
Right. And I always told guys I would not sign a quarterback who is shorter than 6'2".
Okay.
I just
would have
wouldn't.
said under 6 foot, but 6'2", yeah.
Yeah, under 6'2".
Offensive linemen, they're all big.
Right. I just wouldn't do it. And like I say, this with the RPOs and the read zone, that's made it where these smaller guys can play a little more. But you're really kind of handicapped. You're not gonna make good postseason runs with them. They'll fill the seats and you'll win some games, but the postseason, it's not going to be there for them because they're limited to what they can do. They can't throw the ball over the middle of the field. Right. So I'm gonna set the defense. I'm gonna set the defense up where you got to throw the ball in the middle of the field, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to touch on some stuff that you were talking about earlier. Well, that we all know, like you've gone and played with some great players, especially at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, of course, guys on the line and the quarterbacks that you're going to play with. Like, I know there's someone, Trey Five, he was saying like, some of the great running backs that you play with, the great George, Marshall Faulk, and a fan favorite of ours, Thomas Jones.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, how would you rank them as far as like, who would you have number 1 to number 3, and how different were their running styles when it comes down to those guys?
Oh wow, man! I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, there's some great running backs.
These guys are completely different running style. Marshall. It's funny, man, that Marshall, he was a guy. He take off his pads. You would expect that guy just to be cut up and just muscles everywhere, but he's not. And most guys probably wouldn't even recognize him off the street.
Oh,
but
right.
You want to talk about the guy was so fluid with his hips and the way that he can start and stop, catch the ball, smart. I'm talking about just absolutely smart. And it was, it was unreal watching his style of run and what he can do with the ball in traffic. Here he was. He wasn't a big guy, but he can run between the tackles with with all those bodies and make everyone miss because he was just that fluid. And you know, Kamara reminds me a lot of a Marshall Falk.
Okay.
Man, man, what he could do with his body, man, you can't train for that. It was just a special talent that he had. Eddie was 6'3", 6'4", 245 pounds. Just big as I don't know what, just huge.
Derrick Henry the first.
Right. So my rookie years, Eric Dickerson used to come up to minicamp, and man, I would talk to Eric Dickerson a bunch since he was from Texas and not too far from where I was from.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we would talk a bunch. And Eric Dickerson and Eddie George are pretty much the same guy, but Eric was just way faster. But Eric Dickerson was that guy, 6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds, 225 pounds. Eddie was a little bit heavier. But gosh, Eddie, man, I'm talking, he was just a load, dude. Just, man, when that's coming at you, 30 times a game, and you gotta tackle that, man. Those defensive players, they didn't want that. It hurt. It hurts tackling a man that size, moving that fast. It hurts. So, then with Thomas Jones, Thomas was a smaller guy, but he had really good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Really good balance. He wasn't the fastest guy either. Mm-hmm. Really good balance. So he knew how to read his block. He knew how to read his blocks and how to set them up to what he needed to do to get him yards. Because he didn't have that breakaway speed. He didn't have that quick twitch like Marshall Falk, and he didn't have the size of Eddie to where he can just force his will. It was just he was really smart the way he picked his hole, great balance, great vision, and that's what he did well to making big gains.
Yeah. And I know Trey actually had another good question as well that he asked. You brought it up too, how you were part of the Rams being extremely awful when you were first there. Wasn't that the same with the Bears too?
I think
No. So my first year with the Bears, we made it to the playoffs, and the Bears had a lot of good pieces, a lot of good players, and it was just a quarterback, getting the quarterback to where we needed to be. We had, Moose and Bernard Berrien at the receiver position, Thomas Jones, Benson, at the running backs, and Dez, and at tight end. The defense was loaded. So it was just a matter of getting the quarterback position. Rex threw a great deep ball, and but with him getting hurt, then had Kyle Orton come on and give us some good games.
Two totally different quarterbacks.
Yeah, like Kyle Orton.
One slinger and a manager, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I really thought that Super Bowl with the rain coming down, that was going to be.
So did we.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So talk about that a little bit, Fred. How was it to play in two? A lot of people don't know this. You played in two Super Bowls. 1-1
Yeah.
Thank you for that, by the way. Won me some money. Appreciate it.
Well, I tell you what, man, winning them is a lot better than losing them. I'll tell you that, a lot better. But you play the game, and especially playing as a kid, you dream about playing in the biggest stage, and you get an opportunity to do that, man. It's just like a bucket list deal, man. You check that off, and then it's just a game. Go out there and try to battle and come out with a dub. But um, it was so sweet for us winning that game and with the Rams when I was with the Rams and playing against the Titans. How it came down to that last yard. And, then the next year, me going over to signing with the Titans. And man, I gave those guys so much grief over that. And they tried to talk about how they shouldn't have lost and all this and that. But it was a lot of fun. But man, then to go back with Indy, to go back and to play Indy when I was with the Bears, and man, I just really thought we had these guys set up to the position that we wanted, especially with Hester returning that kickback. Then with all the rain coming, knowing that Manning, what he wanted to do is throw the ball. They didn't want to run it, and what we wanted to do is run the ball.
But answer me this one question: why wasn't Thomas Jones running the damn ball?
I think Thomas got hurt. That game.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he got hurt that game, and a lot of people saying that, man, we should have ran the ball a lot more. And to this day,
didn't he come back in because there was a fumble? Who was that fumbled? Was that Benson that fumbled?
Oh, Benson, damn, so fumbled.
Yeah, that was Benson that fumbled, and then Jones, I thought, came back in.
After that, only for a few drives, and then Benson came back.
And then we threw the pick to Kevin Hayden.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't watched that game.
All you got to do is watch the first 13 seconds.
How bad I gave you to play.
But, so many people, I've talked to over the years, like, man, why don't y'all stop running the ball? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, man, y'all would kill them. Y'all should have ran the ball. And I'm like, well, I thought I thought the Patriots were moving the ball, pretty easy, especially, man, they were throwing the ball just right there at that check down. And
you mean the Colts, right?
Yeah, the Colts.
Colts, right.
Right there at that check down. And I'm like, wow, man, seemed like we just couldn't stop them. So I don't know if we got spooked and they just started dialing up a bunch of plays versus, running the ball and, doing what we were best at.
Yeah, it was great. So tell me, how I always ask people that actually played under him, how was it, playing under Lovie Smith?
Oh, I love playing under Lovie. I loved him. Great guy, great players coach. I think the Bears did themselves a huge disservice getting rid of a guy that what did he win? 10 games that year?
He won
10-6 the year he was like.
He got rid of a guy that won 10 games.
Yeah.
And they've been chasing that ever since.
Yeah.
And
they haven't had a coach since.
Right.
And I was going to ask you, that was what made you go to Chicago because of your relationship with Lovie from the Rams?
Well, so I didn't have a relationship. So when I left the Rams, and I believe that's when Lovie came into Lovie got hired by the Rams either the year after me or 2 years after me.
I thought he won the Super Bowl because he got a ring.
Let me see. Who was he with? He was probably with the Tampa then.
Oh, he got a ring with Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that year you were the number one offense, greatest show on turf, and then I think you were either third or fourth in defense.
Yeah. Right. So, right. Well, I don't think, they were pretty good. But, yeah, our defensive coordinator, when we won it with the Rams, well, it was co-defense coordinators. It was John Bunting and Peter Junta.
Okay.
And so Lovey, I believe, came to the Rams either the year after I left or 2 years after I left. But Lovey and I, since he was with the Rams, we knew a lot of the same people.
Oh, okay.
And right. And so actually, when I was a free agent, I was thinking about either New Orleans or Chicago, and wound up going to Chicago.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but Chicago had they had a ton of pieces in play. They had a good offensive line, good running backs, good receivers. Brought in Moose. Like Moose and I we were the free agents that year. Brought in Moose. The defense was already cold. That was already great. A good Mike B, man. I loved old Mike B.
Mike Brown, boy. Mike Brown.
And that defense, they were great. And they were the heart and soul of that. They were the heart and soul of that team. And I was like, I was all in. I was like, I can make it to the play. I was like, I can make it to another Super Bowl with these guys. I'm like, I see it right here.
Hey, look, we thought so too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was wondering, Fred, you're going to play, like I said, you're going to play with some great players. Who was the fastest or the quickest player that you played with? You got some guys to choose from.
Wow.
Are we including Devin Hester in that?
We got to.
I don't think Devin is I know he wasn't the fastest.
I'm about to say I got a name who I think was the fastest.
It's going to be a toss up between God, what is his name? God, he was like, man, he was an old head when I was young, but dude was fast. Ace. What's Ace's last name? Dude played with the Cowboys for a long time. Gosh, it might come to me. But Chris Sanders, he would definitely be one of those top.
Played for the Titans, right?
Yep. Him. Aurice Curry.
Clearly,
he was a Blazer.
We had him on the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who. I'm trying to think. Goodness, those two I think definitely be the fastest. But I'm gonna tell you who the best athlete. Javon Curse, hands down.
I can see that. I definitely can see that.
Oh God, the freak was an appropriate a nickname, dude. It's scary the things that man could do. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm talking about his hands. I've never seen bigger hands on a person. Dude's hands were like, I would put on his gloves. It was like my kid putting on my gloves. His hand was just that big. He could nearly wrap his hand around a football, and his fingers still touch. Then his speed. Was that big?
Shit,
dude, his speed and the length of his arms. Oh man, dude, he was just off the charts. Off the charts athletic.
That sounds like a fucking alien.
He was definitely, and I would probably say football speed. He'll be in the top 3 football speeds I've ever played with. 100. I've seen it. There was one they were showing his highlight, and they're playing. So the Titans are playing the Ravens. Mm. This is one of the most remarkable things I've seen. So Javon rushes the passer, jumps up, tries to knock the ball out of the air. They throw the ball to Quadri Ishmael. Quadri Ishmael's not a slow guy. Throw it off to him in the flats. He takes off running. Quadri at the time is being covered by Samari Rolle. Samari's a 4-3 guy. Samari cannot catch him. About 40 yards down the field, you see Javon show up in the screen, runs both of them down, and tackles both of them.
Hey.
Oh, it is the most amazing thing you have ever seen. It is. Yeah, you watch this highlight, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And see, that's wild that you
he's one
said
of the
that.
best athletes.
A bigger guy, too. A bigger guy.
Right, yeah. So, Javon was 6'5", probably 240 or so, 250. Dude just, man, could fly. Gosh, he could move.
So I want to give you the two that I thought because
Ace Wright, that's his name.
Alexander Wright. That's who I was thinking.
Alexander Wright. Yep.
Number 89.
Mm-hmm. He would be one of the fastest.
I was gonna say it was either him or Oz as far as the
Oz the King. Oz was just really quick. He wouldn't. He was fast, but and another person who was supposed to be really fast too was Todd Kinchin.
Oh, I remember Todd Kinchin. Yeah.
Yep.
He was fast.
Oh, blazing fast. Yep.
He had some injuries because he never really got home. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I remember old Todd. Yeah.
Yeah. So So Chris Sanders was, smoking fast. Yeah, he might have been the fastest. He might have been the fastest. But the scary thing is, man. So I would talk to Chris about fast players, and he went to Ohio State, and he was saying Joey Galloway was way faster than him. I'm like,
we've heard stories about Joey Galloway.
I'm like, way faster. He's like, there's not even. He said it's not even a contest.
Because at one point in time, he was supposed to do the Olympics, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What's that?
Joey Galloway was supposed to do the Olympics at one time.
Right. And he's like, man, he's like, Fred, he's like, he hardly trained, he hardly ate, right? He said, he'd go in and just throw up 500 pounds on a bench press, then, go out there and run a 4.2, 4.1. I'm like, and he's like, I would try to keep up with him, and he's like, I couldn't do it. Dude was just so fast. I'm like, wow.
Did he have that football speed though too?
Yeah.
Joey Galloway?
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to hear it.
Have you not watched Joey
I just wanted to hear it from him.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll take Joey Galloway right now.
Yeah, I think we take a lot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we would take Fred to suit up right now on that offensive line.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you the way it's looking. Yeah.
I probably don't last maybe a play or two. I feel like he's quarterback.
I would love if you could come and coach though, Fred.
Yeah, teach some of these young
ones. Oh man, I know you got the little ones and everything, and it's their time. But if you did ever think about getting into the coaching ranks, would you be interested on the NFL level, or would you want to go like more high school?
Gosh, I would probably say more so on the NFL level.
Okay.
It's just so much. I think you can just get a lot. It's easier to coach guys who can do the things that you're coaching them to do. Not all high school players, have the athleticism to perform the techniques that necessary. All the pro guys do. And most of the pro guys, they're missing like one little thing. They're missing like one little thing that doesn't make them successful. Then it gets into their head. Then it gets into their head. Then once they start doubting themselves, they're done.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. It's a lot of them, they got when they say it's a game of inches in the NFL, it's literally inches. 1 or 2 inches with your footwork or your head placement. 1 or 2 inches can make that difference. And a lot of times I'm watching these guys, I'm like, Yeah, this guy he didn't quite figure it. He hasn't figured it out yet. And a lot of times the coaches don't realize that. They don't
That's crazy.
think
You can
they
see it,
don't
but they
understand what they're
can't.
doing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Something as simple as foot, like you said, foot
Something that
placement.
simple. Something that simple. Yep.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people say footwork, but you don't hear foot placement that much.
Oh gosh, it's it kind of what happens is, you know, if you are off with your, say like a running game, you're off with your footwork, and now you're off with your footwork. Now you're getting your butt turned into the hole, and you're not giving the running back a nice uh, square shoulders to where he can read it to go whichever way he wants to. So now he's thinking, okay, this guy's you're gonna call this play. His butt's gonna be in the hole, so it's gonna force me here. Then when the guy actually might do it right, now the running back is doing it wrong because he's thinking that the
Oh,
tackle
he automatically shifting over.
is going to force him to go inside. So now the running back makes a bad read. He goes inside, and you get a tackle for no gain, and that's a play that a bad play. Then that's what normally happens with bad teams is you get everyone, you don't have everyone breaking down at one time. It's one guy here with just a small thing as a footwork by inches, and you don't have a sense of, you get one guy doing it at a time, and then you have bad plays, and you got 3-and-outs, you can't score, can't win the game.
That makes a ton
And
of
that's
sense now.
that's what basically goes on.
We see it every Sunday. No, Frank,
gosh,
don't do it.
right.
Don't do it, Frank. Don't do it because we'll wait. Don't do it.
Man, it's shocking to me,
Hold it in.
especially too watching it at the college levels,
Mhm.
and you see like the Alabamas and the Georgias where they do have bigger, faster athletes, but a lot of that gap can be closed if guys will perform in the right techniques to where you can move bigger, faster athletes if you're doing the right technique.
Mhm.
And they're not giving themselves a chance because their technique is bad, and it's just plain physics. You
Ah,
gotta have leverage, and you don't have
Gotta have
leverage, you can't
leverage.
move guys.
That's when football IQ comes into play.
Yeah, so
man, that's insightful, Fred. We needed that because I'm
Yeah.
sitting up there looking at like, man, if we don't, I don't want no more linemen that can't play line. Like,
right. Yeah, then it like I say, and it comes down to, as well as the line you got to work as a unit. You got to be
got a jail.
right. You got to gel and work as a unit to where, guys can be able to, and that's the deal with with us when I was in St. Louis. We would have so many different calls because of all the picking up all the different blitzes and so on and so forth. But by game 4, we would now know what the other guy was going to do, where we didn't have to actually communicate. We knew what the other one was thinking, and so that way we don't have to communicate in front of the defense and telling them what we're doing, tipping them to our play. So we just knew it. We knew what the other guy was thinking. We knew, okay, if this guy had the beast, if you got the inside guy got Warren Sapp, I'm gonna try to help him out a little bit as well as do my job because here's the guy with the killer. And
Right.
so we worked as a unit like that. And that's what made us successful as well.
So, Fred, how many years did you play?
13.
13 years. And in them 13 years, who was your most difficult person to block?
So, given all respect to Reggie White, Reggie White was Reggie White, dude, Javon was he was a beast too. He was, especially with the crowd noise. tough, man. Tough. Dude was just a beast. I remember our first third down. I took a set, and I didn't. And I knew he was fast. From the first two plays, and I'm thinking, okay, man, I better get back here because this dude is coming. So I get back, and after looking at it on film, I was actually in a pretty good position, but I didn't think that I was.
Oh.
Then it got into my head. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, damn, this dude is still getting, he's still getting by me, and I'm moving as fast as I could. And I just thought I was in a world of trouble then. I didn't know what to do. Man, I tried to pull out the cheap tricks, try to play dirty. I'm like, hold on, maybe I can get him to slow down if I play some dirty ball. But no, that didn't do it either.
So he just kept coming, huh?
Yeah, dude just kept coming. Yeah, but man, for tackles, man, it's always, man, to me, just crowd noise. If you can hear and get off, and two, back then we didn't have these intricate silent counts. It was just, get up and it was just go.
So with you bringing up crowd noises, I have a question in regards to that. What do you possibly feel about the Bears moving to Arlington Heights, possibly in the Dome, where the crowd noise hopefully is going to be a lot more louder?
Yeah.
Because you are looking at probably an 80,000 plus capacity too. How do you feel about that?
It'll be nuts. It'll be loud, and that's going to be interesting to play to see if that happens.
Are you going to come if when they open? You going to come to Alumni Night?
Oh yeah.
We'll have to get everyone together.
Man, that's it's crazy. That they might leave Soldier Field, but
it's already pretty much a done deal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty much a done deal now. They're already building up the plans. It's probably 2026 is when it's going to happen officially.
Yeah, see it. The McCaskey family are huge traditionalists. Yeah. Huge traditionalists. But it's so much money involved with them moving to, they can start printing money when they move out there to Arlington.
Yeah, I was about to say they finally gonna make some money,
right? You can't do that in Soldier Field.
Right. Chicago has screwed them over for so damn long.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not even that. It's that they don't own it. Yeah, they don't own it, so they can't develop it. Yeah. So now they get to develop all that property around it. If you go to Cowboy Stadium and over here the practice facility, man, Jerry Jones has built all kind of stuff up around the practice facility and hotels, and it's the guy that made billions upon billions.
Yeah,
just with the real estate around the practice facility and the stadiums.
Yeah, the Bears have bought so much property around that.
Right, that's what. Right, they're doing. Right, they're going to do the same thing.
Everything out there.
They're going to do the same thing. So, it's nothing that Chicago. Right, the city of Chicago couldn't do anything. They couldn't. Probably about the only thing that they could do to keep them there is give them
the stadium.
That would literally be the only thing that they can do.
Yeah,
right. That's the only thing. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, because you look at it from a business aspect, like, why the hell would I sit up here and stay here where I'm basically renting this place from you, where I can go somewhere where I got more acres and I can sit up there and build my own damn stadium and build my own little Bear world.
Right, exactly.
Stand right there and all the profit is going to me.
Yep.
And the craziest thing is the Bears are still a top 6 profited franchise, and they don't even own their stadium.
Right.
When they have their own stadium, they're easily going to be 3 easily.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Jerry, like you just said, with Jerry's world is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Of which, I think something ridiculous, like he was able to pay it off in 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Right.
I believe
all the money he made.
And I think all this kind of started with the Rams. So when I got drafted by the Rams, our practice facility was in a place called
Thank you, Scott.
Earth City.
Earth City. Okay.
Yep, Earth City, and uh, so Stan Kroenke was the minority owner at the time.
Mhm.
Well, Stan brought up probably 50, 100 acres around the practice facility. I don't know about. There was a landfill out there. It was correct. It was a
Wait, Stan Kroenke was a minority owner of the Rams.
Yeah, he was a minority owner of the Rams.
I
Right.
didn't know that.
I didn't, because I thought it was Georgia Frontier.
Yeah, Georgia Frontier. You're right. So she was
Frontier,
right. She was a majority owner, and Stan Kroenke was the minority owner at the time.
Did not know that. Okay, Kronk got a little bread then.
Oh, it's Kronk's wife.
Oh wow.
So I think I think he did have a little money. But
Okay.
Kroenke's wife is Sam Walton's granddaughter.
Sam's Club, Walmart.
Exactly. That's where all the money at.
That's real money.
That's where the money was.
That's where the money at.
So he bought up all that land, and I'm like, why in the world would he do it? This nasty. I'm talking about a landfill. Across the street from the practice facility. Well, across the highway from the practice. You smell the trash all the time, but sure enough, all that land, he put buildings upon buildings. Wow. He made out just a ton of money in real estate out there. And so then that's when I think all these other places are, you know what? If we make the practice facility or the stadium the center, we can build around it. We can give it some synergy with our facility, and everybody else is going to want to be around it. And
that makes a lot of sense.
Doing. That's the game plan right now. That's what everybody wants.
I remember going to stadiums. That's on my bucket list. Like every state I go to, I want to visit the stadiums and stuff.
Yeah.
Not back in the day, like you didn't see the Washington Commanders hotel or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
You didn't see that. Right. That's okay.
Right.
Well, hopefully we do our due diligence as Bears fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Go out there and support, but it's just wild, man.
It's gonna.
No more bear weather, by the way. That's going.
And that's the deal. They got it right. So you got to make it real, and they're gonna make it really nice. It's gonna be total first class. It's gonna, if you do that,
they want to host the
people
Super Bowl.
Gonna come. People gonna come.
Oh yeah, they tired of being like someone said. They probably like the number 6 franchise, and they don't own their own stadium. And then not only that, they haven't been winning.
Right.
So you sit up there and you put a team together that's winning on a consistent basis, and they got their own shit. They can easily go to number 1.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can see. Yeah. Plus they're being the 3rd largest market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
I can see it.
I hate to say it, but it's time. Mama Bear's 100 years old now, so it's time, man. Like it's time to move the Bears into the 21st. Well, no, what 22nd, 24th century now. Like we need a dome. We need a 4,000-yard passer. We need another Super Bowl appearance. We just need, and it's well deserved. Charter franchise, man.
I agree.
So, Fred, I have another question. As far as you're going to play with how many different franchises? 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, just 3. Who had the best fan base?
Man, they were all different in different ways. So the absolute loudest was Nashville by far.
How about Tennessee?
Yeah.
They were, and it was like they were like a college town.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so, Nashville. Yeah, that's all that is.
They were like a college.
It is pretty much like a college town.
It was just, man. I remember the first we had a Monday night football game, and so we had to stay at the hotel before the game. So, we'd normally go. So if the game starts at 7:00, we'll normally get to the stadium probably 4 to 5 hours before. Yeah, probably 3 to 4 hours before kickoff. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drive. I need to go get something from the house. I'm gonna drive down there to the house, then come back to the hotel, chill out for a little bit, then I go to the stadium. So I go to the house probably about 10 o'clock that morning.
Mhm.
I passed by the stadium, and the stadium parking lot was packed. The town shut down.
Oh,
Everyone was already out there tailgating, and I'm like, ooh, it's going to be loud. It's going to be, man, it's going to be a good atmosphere for a football game. So I went, and so then we come out of the stadium, man, it was so loud. You couldn't even hear yourself talk. It was just nuts. So, but that was, that's kind of that college. They were definitely more of that college atmosphere.
love it.
The fans in St. Louis has really good fans too. I think St. Louis is more baseball, but still, it was still great fans. Chicago fans are more the sophisticated fans. They're gonna come and they're gonna get loud. And they're gonna show up, but they're not gonna be like the crazy college kids.
Mm-mm.
Tennessee is
We're
like
not gonna show out.
college kids. Right.
Yeah.
Well, how often, Fred, do you visit? Where are you right now? You say you're in Texas right now?
Yeah, in Houston. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the
How
crib.
often do you How often do you visit out here?
I still go. I go back probably at least once a year. My wife's family is actually from Arlington Heights, so
okay.
I'll go
Look
back.
at that.
You definitely will be there.
That's why you're gonna be there, huh?
Yeah, easy right there. So when you do come back, because we always like to play this little game here for Chicago, what's your number one eating places that you have to make sure that you visit out here?
Definitely got to go to Sukasa. Get me a pink dragon.
Okay.
Without the fish eggs.
Oh.
Best sushi in the world.
All right. We don't hear that often.
Oh,
no, that's the first time I heard that.
Definitely got to do that. Definitely got to do that.
Okay.
As well as, let's see, what else do I have to have? I normally go get a jumbo chili cheese dog from Portillo's.
Okay.
Do that. I normally get a gyro.
Okay.
A gyro from Costas, which is out in Palatine. I normally do that. I also got to go get a what's the hot dog place?
Downtown or up north?
Up north, over by the airport. Gene and Jude's.
Gene and Jude's. Okay.
Gene and Jude's. Okay.
We got to do a Gene and Jude's.
What about a chicken place? We always like to say this number one chicken place to get out here.
I wouldn't put Chicago down as a great chicken place.
Is it maybe because you haven't visited the chicken place?
Nashville hot chicken, you can't beat.
Oh, well, that Nashville hot is a staple, true.
Yeah,
right? But we're talking about good old fried chicken. So if you stayed in the Hyatt, you wasn't
right. So what was that place? Is it Gus's? No, the chicken place down there. Harold's.
I finally got baptized for my first Harold's because I'm a suburban.
And Harold's has some great chicken too, man. Just took so damn long.
It does
take long, but it was worth the wait. I didn't care.
Maybe like 20 minutes, you'd be like 40.
I took home 2 buckets.
Let's see, who else, man?
What about pizza or steak?
Steak is Gibson's. Love Gibson's.
Always, yeah. Everyone cooks Gibson's.
Yeah. Love Gibson's. Pizza, so I can either do a Giordano's deep dish, Chicago style,
Okay.
or do.
Parents would nice to hear that.
or Rosati's thin crust.
I love Rosati's.
Okay,
love
North
Rosati's.
Lincoln Park, Rosati's, yeah.
I love Rosati's. We got those out in the burbs.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I tell you, man, there was this sandwich shop that was on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. I think it was called Puebla Sormitas. Probably one of the best sandwiches I ever had.
Oh, wow.
You're not familiar with that one. You teaching us.
Right, exactly. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me go ahead and jot that down in my notes.
We love to eat on this show, Fred.
Right. Oh yeah, we love to eat. That's why we always ask people that have gone and sit up there and played with the Bears. You know, like what places did y'all love to eat at? You know, Chicago guys. Chicago. I mean, one thing about Chicago's known for its food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of different varieties. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After the game, I was either going to be at Gibson's or Joe's.
Okay.
Oh, Joe's seafood.
Yeah. Joe's. Yep. So Gibson or Joe's.
Yeah.
So those were my two spots.
Oh yeah.
Go give me a great steak and lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You brought up Portillo's too. Did you know they opened one up in Texas?
Yeah. I saw that they're making their way down here.
Did you happen to check that out yet or try anything?
No, they're up in Dallas.
I would really like to know if that food tastes.
Yeah, so
they said they're up in Dallas.
Yeah, they're up in Dallas. So I'm waiting to see them come down my way.
It's like a 5-hour haul, ain't it?
Yeah.
Because how far is Dallas from Houston? What?
About 200 miles.
Oh, yeah, Texas is a big state.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
Everything's big in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so Fred, before we let you go, this is personal for me. Can I put a little money on Baylor basketball this March Madness?
Man,
you won it last year.
Well, we won it the year before.
Sorry, okay, the year before. I'm sorry.
Man, we don't have that killer mentality that we did 2 years.
You need that in these playoffs.
Two of the players are in the G League, so that's one reason.
I'm telling you, 2 years ago, them dudes would eat your heart with a spoon. They were killers. They were absolute killers. The dudes today, man, they kind of up and down. They like, you don't know which one you're gonna get.
That's how all of college basketball is right now.
Yeah, it is. Right.
Nobody's a favorite this year.
But at least you all did it on both ends. You did it in football and in basketball. So we shout out to Baylor University.
Yeah, man. We're trying to make some moves. We're trying to make some moves. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the future with the way that the college landscape is changing and the whole NIL and super conference.
Oh, well, that alone, right? So,
you know,
definitely.
It's going to be it'll be tough on the little small schools.
Well, I'll say this: every year in the Big 12, you got to watch out for Baylor and TCU. Them blue bloods ain't it.
Right. Yeah. That Yeah, Texas, man, they messed the conference up.
Oh yeah.
Well, did you not see that coming though?
Man, Yeah. It's all about the money.
Always.
It's all about the money. So,
it's all about giving the SEC more credibility. That's my personal theory.
100%. ESPN owns the SEC network.
Yep.
So it's all about trying to make them big.
Well, as long as Texas beats Alabama, I'm happy every year.
I don't see that happening, but
I'm just wishing.
It's gonna be a while. Yeah, it'll be a while for that happen.
It's good to have dreams, right?
Right.
As long as Saban's
Nick Saban got his stuff down.
Yeah, that guy is unreal.
Yeah, he is. Well, Fred.
All right, fellas.
I want to thank you for coming on.
You're good.
All right.
We're going to go ahead and let you go, man. We're going to thank you for coming on. And
thank you so
when you come
much.
to town, hit us up. We'd love to have you back on the show, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one, y'all.
Take care, Fred.
All right.
All right, that was great talking to Fred.
Awesome, man. Yeah, he shed some light that I didn't even think about in a lot of topics, man. So
Definitely. It was very
Sure.
insightful. Very insightful.
Very.
Absolutely. Love a Fred Miller. Give it to you both ways. Give it to you on the intelligence side and the physical side. The man played ball, period, point blank. I promise you, if we had a Fred Miller on the team right now, I'd feel a lot better.
God, yeah. Oh my God. If we had half of a Fred Miller on this team, I'd be happy.
Well, look, hey, shout out to Frank for not losing his.
I held it. I held it. It's all good.
On the musty talk.
Yeah. Didn't want. It was tough.
But hey, Frank, I just want to tell you something, man. I like that shirt.
Hey, everyone should. We should. Hey, let's get. Hey, if anyone wants to know where to get these nice shirts,
roll it.
Hit it.
Man, I know.
Hey,
I think I'm gonna
model this shit.
Okay, we see.
There you go, Frank.
Shit.
Man, hey, I think I'm gonna have to get Grogu one of them, man.
Yeah, right.
Look, Grogu, hey, you want one of them? Huh?
Do they make one his size, man?
Man, I don't know. They might make one this size. I don't know.
Yeah, we should ask them if they got like the little ones. And in case anybody needs to know, there it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Click the link below.
Click the link. Get the discount.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, it was great talking to Fred Miller. Fred was giving us great insight on what he thinks as far as like when it comes to matchups. You know, going against some of those big physical, fast guys. You know, like he said, a lot of it's got to do with technique and positioning and everything. Yeah,
he agrees with you.
Yeah. So, you know, we can sort of talk about the combine a little bit. You know, we saw a couple guys. My boy DJ Turner from Michigan ran the fastest with the 4.26.
Unfortunately for Michigan.
Hey.
No, but he was good, so I'm not mad.
He looked really good.
Yeah. He was always good. He had a great season, actually.
Yeah, so he did. And, you know, that's a position that we need, you know. But the great thing about this combine and that we found out about the draft, that the draft is pretty deep as far as when it comes down to cornerbacks. Because I still think that we're one cornerback away, you know. I like Kyler on the outside. Yeah, what you do? You just focus in on yourself. Huh?
Yeah. How the hell I did that? What the heck?
Yeah. So I like that we got. I think Kyler belongs on the outside more than he does in the slot. This draft is also heavy in defensive linemen. Something else.
And linebackers.
Huh?
And linebackers. I saw the linebacker crew, and I was very impressed for like the third, fourth round. Very impressed about what we can get value-wise.
I mean, I ain't really see too many. It's not top heavy, but yeah, you could probably get some.
No, it's not top heavy, but you know, we need depth, man. We need some impact too. But
we can definitely do that. I want to sort of talk about the combine a little bit and what you guys think that we should do as far as draft-wise as well. So we start with you, Frank. What you think? You said you ain't really watched the combine, so
no. I mean, I still know what
as far as draft wise,
I agree with what Alex Brown said. I mean, combine is just it's a show to make sure that nobody's hurt, keeping everyone healthy. But there is nobody that I watched highlights with at the combine that I'm willing to take a number one and not trade back. Because that should still be your number one thing that you need to do. I don't care what anyone, even if it's moving back 1 to 2, moving back 1 to 4. And I know we were talking about it earlier. I would like them to stay in the top 5, but I wouldn't be against them staying maybe in the top 7 and still getting Myles Murphy, because I did look at his highlights. He looked damn good at the combine too.
He did.
Like he's looking big. Like he put on weight, but lost no speed. So he put on a lot of muscle weight in the offseason, and he didn't lose any speed with it. So his worth ethic is through the roof, and I think he'd be something special.
Because did they have him at 270, 266, something like that?
I think it was 266. Yeah, 266. Yeah. And he was still absolutely a fast one too. And he's got great hands with it, great footwork.
Yeah, great shuttle drill. Yeah, like
if I'm pulling in an extra 5-6 picks, maybe even an extra 1 or 2 next year, and I'm still able to call Miles Murphy out of that draft, man, that's a keeper. Absolutely.
I agree. So let me give you some names that I saw that I want, because I'm really, really, again, fellas, I know y'all gonna kill me. I'm not on the Nicholas Morrow train. Like, I'm just not.
I'm not killing you for that shit.
No, why would we kill you?
You know, he was supposed to be like the next best thing. The Raiders gave up on him too soon. You know, like, and you know, self-admittedly, when I see something I don't like, I don't give me 2 years to show me you suck.
Yeah, but and as a fan, I would still take him back as a Bear, even if it's just a backup.
Well,
if you got
for depth purposes, right? Yes, because but keep your eyes. There's a guy, Trenton Simpson. He's from Clemson, 6'3", 230. I like him a lot. Maybe in that 4th, 5th round area, because we need some outside linebackers, you know. Then there was a guy from Alabama who I didn't know he was that good. Harry, have you said his name? Tua.
Yeah, I don't even try.
Yeah, he's actually a guy that transferred in from Tennessee.
Right. I watched Alabama, but I didn't know he was that fluid. I didn't know he was that good. Another linebacker, kind of, and I'm saying this only because of what I saw in college. Very heady around the ball, kind of puts you in the mode of how, what's my boy that had the catfish at Notre Dame? Manti Te'o. Kind of reminds you of him college-wise. Always around the ball, always, you know, very heady, hit you in coverage and everything, solid tackler. I liked him a lot too. Projected like second, maybe mid-second, early third. I think that's somebody we need to keep an eye on. Also, I don't know how much you all watched, but those tackles, I saw Paris Johnson drop, man.
Yeah.
I saw him drop. See, I didn't know Paris Johnson was going to drop like that. They saying Skoronski might actually be the guy. I know he's a little smaller, but I thought Paris Johnson, and I had also liked Olu Fashanu from Penn State, 6'6", 308. But some of those names, I mean, again, we talking about depth. We talking about the later rounds, mid to late 4th, early 5th, late 5th. It's some guys out there that are just, you know, I just think we need to be very, very vigilant in what we're looking for. Guy from Tennessee, Brandon Hyatt, right? Isn't that his name, Brandon Hyatt?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't Brandon Hyatt a part of the other podcast?
Is it Brandon?
It started with a J. It's something.
Jaylen Hyatt.
Yeah, Brandon Hyatt's a part of the other podcast. You might be watching it. He might have just got his name put out.
Famous plug, whatever. But
what up, B? We hollering at you.
I'm not saying. See, I'm torn because I like what I saw from him, but at the same time, I was like, "Dang, do we want to draft 2 Tennessee receivers back to back? One of them is just and the other one we don't know yet. I don't know." Him and Hayden Hooker had a great Hendon Hooker. I'm sorry, had a great season prior to the injury. Tennessee was, I think, as high as number 2 in the polls last year. Yeah, thank you, Dion.
I think they went as high. Yeah, they probably went like 2 or 4.
Right. Thank you, Dion. Yeah, Hyatt, he could be that guy if he's available, right? Around that Ravens pick that we have at 2.
That'd be nice. That'd be a steal, I would think.
Yeah, hey. If he's on the board, man, we might have to take him, man. Like,
wait, where are you talking about taking him at? What round?
Late second, early third.
Late second pick.
I mean, he's about a one-trick pony.
He does that trick very well, though.
It's a good trick, and you can adapt.
I mean, it's a hell of a trick, but like I said, the NFL got fast guys too. So,
True. So let me be very clear when I say this, right? I look at somebody like a Christian Watson, right? Who was supposed to be like a one-trick pony. And we talking about a guy that's 6'5", that runs a 4.3, but you saw the progression. Now, Hyatt is only 6 foot 6'1", I think he came in at. But for some reason, when you had a quarterback that could put the ball out there, it just looked like easy money for him.
Yeah, well, even with Christian Watson, I liked him last year.
But you ain't love him.
He was still a one trick pony. I mean, he got some of his touchdowns on reverses and things of that nature. He wasn't like a guy where he like, man, he's running all the route trees. You know what I'm saying? He's doing this and he's doing that. He was just like a 9 and go, or he may do a post or something or get a reverse. Outside of that, I ain't worrying about him doing no ins, no outs, no stops, no comebacks.
We saw that in the season for the Packers, though. He was able to do that. So what I'm saying is sometimes if you get that guy that's really, really good at one thing, but he's able to, because a lot of people don't remember, Randy Moss was only good at the deep ball at Marshall, or get it real quick and just beat everybody. He didn't have a complete route tree either.
Yeah, but do we really gamble and take another Tennessee?
Tennessee volunteer wide receiver? Was a freak of nature.
He was a freak of nature, true. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, yes, Frank. Do we look at it and say, well, do we take another Tennessee receiver? I'm David Jones. To me, Jalen Hyatt is better than Velvet Jones. He is.
Hands down, he is. I would say that too. But they are identical. They were both kind of one-trick ponies. Yeah. But I mean,
I'll put it to you like this. I think Velvet had a little bit more. I think there's more things that he can do with the football than Hyatt.
Well, one is 21, one is 26. So
yeah, it's a big difference right there.
that makes a difference, right? And then,
so what do you think about doing as far as when it comes down to this draft pick? What do you want to do? Who do you want? Because we all know that one thing's for damn sure, they're not going to keep that number one pick. No.
And if they do, though, I mean, they're sold on Will Anderson. Nobody's going other than Will Anderson.
1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 9. Maybe. I don't want to go out of the top 10.
I don't think I want to.
Because if you stay at least in the top 10, you could still get the best offensive lineman available.
Well, no. Here's the thing, because if you pay attention to how the mock drafts have been going, it went from Will Anderson's dropping to us, or Jalen Carter's dropping to us at 4 or 5. Then if you look at the latest one with McShay 3.0, it had us drafting Skoronski at I think 7 or something like that. But what I was looking at is this: with the emergence of Richardson, now there's 4 quarterbacks that people are looking at as opposed to 3. So who behind us? Because I'm sorry, I don't see Aaron Rodgers going to the Raiders, but that doesn't mean to me that the Raiders are going to draft a quarterback. I think the Raiders would be best served to look at Jameis Winston or to look at Jimmy Garoppolo. I really do.
Porn star Jimmy.
Because he just think about it. He played in New England with Josh McDaniels. Like, it just makes sense, right? But who behind them jumps up? Does Carolina scare you guys with the 2 first-round picks they have? Like, could that be something that we actually
would love to get both of those first-round picks? If you like one for both of those, what are they? Is this 9?
Right, 9 and
9, and I think
is it 9 and 17 or something like that?
Yeah, I thought it was like 15 or 16, but
yeah,
it's something.
But at the same time, we don't know what they plan on doing with Baker's Mayfield. So I don't know, and I'm not saying like, oh my God, y'all want Baker Mayfield, but you know how this league is. Everybody think they can fix somebody. Nobody would have thought Geno Smith was going to get the money he got this year, because just a few years ago, Geno Smith was knocking on being out the league.
Yeah, but do the Seahawks? Do you still think the Seahawks aren't going to take a quarterback? Because you only got Geno locked in for 3 years.
Not the first round. No.
You don't think so?
Man, I'll put it to you like this. I think for sure that we got to sort of talk about some of the guys that got franchise tag.
Everybody we wanted.
Everybody we wanted got franchise.
I wanted Saquon, but that shit did.
Like I said, everybody we wanted: Deron Payne, Saquon, like
yeah, guys got. So now we're talking about a guy like
Now
Orlando
we really got to
Brown
get more
Jr.
draft picks.
You know, you're talking about him. He's going to be available. As far as when it comes down to someone playing that 3 technique, that DT position, you you got Hargrove from
from Philly.
Philadelphia. You got what's his name, Draymond
Yep,
from
and then you got Rucker. You got
Denver.
Rucker from the Colts.
Yeah, you got well, if they let him go, you got him. I think one thing that the Bears are going to have to do, they're going to have to decide if they're going to keep Monty. If they're not going to keep Monty, now we're looking in the draft for a running back.
Why did I see something about Monty going to the Jets?
Man, it could happen.
It could. But it's
could happen. I mean,
when you hear talk like that, Josh Jacobs got franchised. Like when you hear talk like that, it's like Tony Pollard got franchised and he's hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if it was up to me with the Bears, I don't want to drop no further than 5. It's just that simple. I much rather trade with Texans, see if I can get their 2 first-round picks. If I can do that.
Texas, Indy, and that's it.
Yeah. And then I'll trade with the Colts. I'll still trade with the Colts.
Well, they're 4. So 5 is Seattle, right?
Yeah, 5 is Seattle. Now, the only way I'm trading with Seattle if they're going to give me their 2 first-round picks is with.
Which they won't do.
Which they won't.
They don't need a quarterback.
They already re-signed Geno, so I don't think they're going to be thirsty to get a quarterback.
And they can get, like, literally, they can get the D tackle they need right now, and they need a center.
Yeah.
So I had a guy who I liked out of Iowa State, I believe. No, out of Minnesota. John Michael Smith, 6'4", 320, Mauler at center. Just looks the part, just nasty, just evil, just check his highlights out. Just like, man, we can get a guy like that in center. And traditionally centers aren't that tall.
No, they're not.
No.
But he got a lot of oomph to him, and he's got a low center of gravity, which I like. So, but you figure Seattle in the catbird seat. You got your quarterback you wanted. You need a D tackle or a D end, and then you need a center, and like they're literally right there for you. So at 5, I can see Seattle taking Will Anderson, Miles Murphy, Jaylen Carter. So that's why I'm saying I'm scared that I don't want to drop too far down. No. And then none of the guys we want are there.
There's a guy that's actually going up the damn drafts. I've been hearing more about than Miles Murphy, and that's Tyrese Wilson.
Well, remember, I like Tyrese Wilson a lot, but remember, what's that, Texas Tech, right?
Yeah.
Tyrese Wilson. And he's coming off of an injury, but it don't look like he's slowing down. It look like he's –
Nah, I mean, I put it to you like this. I heard him going before Miles Murphy.
Yeah, I have too.
Some mock drafts, they do have that.
Yeah.
And that could benefit us, but at the same time, we get to 3 and everything stays like it is. Who's to say that the Cardinals are not taking Will Anderson? Like he's gone 1, 2, 3.
Well, there's a lot of talking about that they're not doing that. That they're not going to go that route. That they're probably looking to sit up there and trade
back.
Yeah, they may trade back.
Because and if they are going to pick at it, there are actually a lot of people picking Jaylen Carter over Will Anderson for Arizona.
So that still hurts us because now if the Cardinals are trading back, they might not be asking as much as the Bears are asking.
Well, I mean, they don't have to because, I mean, the Bears make that it's as simple as this. If the Bears make that pick, if they make that trade with Houston for that number 2, I don't care what Arizona does in number 3 because the Bears still going to be playing with house money even at number 2. Some team is going to come up to get either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
I 1,000% agree with you. Like I said before, 1 to 2, get those picks. Houston's not giving both first-round picks. I doubt it.
Yeah,
but more likely
to move up one spot.
It all depends on who do you want. Because, I mean, you look at it. The Bears basically gave up 2 to get Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, well, I mean, that GM was dumb shit.
Huh?
That was dumb.
Man, we got dumb-ass GMs in the NFL all damn day, depending on how thirsty you are.
Well, here we go. If Houston is the shitless, shiftless, conniving franchise that we think they are, then it could be some smoke with some fire with a smoke. But right now, with DeMeco Ryans coming in, and they kind of got to get it right this time. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that I think they're happy with any of the top 5 quarterbacks that are coming out because any one of them are better than Davis Mills currently.
Yeah.
And DeMeco Ryans is going to build that defense. He's going to draft a quarterback. I'm sorry. They're going to draft a quarterback, but he's going to want that defense to be the calling card. So
but
I don't think they care if it's Stroud. I don't think they care if it's Bryce Young.
I think they do.
It's Will Levis. I don't think they do.
I think they like Stroud more than Bryce Young, actually.
I think they do care.
He's bigger.
Yeah. I think they care because the thing is this. The team where the rumor is that wants to come up and get is their divisional rival.
That is true.
That's the Colts. The same team that they fucked around and beat and put themselves in this situation. Thank you, Lovey Smith. So I think they really do care about who it is. One thing that we do, though, one of these quarterbacks are going to separate themselves from the others. It may not be by a lot. It may be by just a little, but they are going to separate themselves. And I think depending on what Will Levis does and what Anthony Richardson do, this draft can really become interesting because, the one thing the NFL does do, they do draft off of potential. And if they sit up there and think that these guys have great potential, then someone's going to move up. There might be a couple teams that's going to call and move up to try to get those guys. Because hell, we can see 4 straight quarterbacks go.
We don't know what's outside the top 10 that may want to make moves, which is wonderful. But the thing that gets me with this is we all know your pro day is individualized and it's about you. When you're at the combine, it's about the combine. So it's a lot more pressure, you know what I'm saying, that you're facing. So if Bryce Young wants to run and throw at his pro day, nobody's saying Bryce Young can't throw the ball. Nobody's saying that Bryce Young is not accurate. Nobody's saying Bryce Young doesn't have arm strength. The problem is, if Deshaun Watson was getting sacked a ton behind that line and still threw for 4,000, almost 5,000 yards, Davis Mills couldn't get the ball off. What do we think Bryce Young is going to do behind that line? That's why I think they would go a bigger quarterback, which means that now another team that's like, hey, we got a line, a la Carolina. How can we trade up, right? How can we trade up to grab a Bryce Young or a Will Levis?
They're going to be trading you a lot more. Maybe not that early first-round picks, but you will be getting seconds, thirds, fourth.
And to me, that's the team I would want to talk to.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I could be wrong.
Miles Murphy might still be there at 9.
Like I said, I think Anderson is generational. I really do. I think he's that damn good, and that's why I don't want to sit up there and sacrifice losing a guy like that just to sit up there and drop all the way back to fucking number 9 or some damn where to get.
So you can almost bet that if Will Will Anderson is there at 5 and Seattle has that pick, he's not getting past Seattle. Why wouldn't?
No. I mean, shit. I mean, if he's at 5 and we below there, yeah, then I know damn well we ain't going for him. Because shit, they pretty much made that certain that we're not gonna go for him. 4 is about,
and that's why I say,
if I want Will Anderson, 4 is about as low as I'm gonna go.
There you go. So that's why I asked you before. Would you do 1 to 2? I'm sorry, 2 to 1, and then 2 to 4.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then stop.
Yeah, I'm stopping there because unless Seattle,
don't even ask Carolina if they be like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you some more."
I ain't going.
That's why I said about getting too greedy with future draft picks. Then if you suck and here comes 2026. Hell, that regime may not even be there to pick. They're
going to be there. They're going to be there. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's end this off with some Hawk talk. Go ahead, Frank. Talk about them sorry-ass Hawks.
Hey, everybody, I had a lot of messages and everything on my rant on Tuesday and how pissed off I was, which I'm still not happy about it. I mean, that's clearly obvious, but doing more research on it, one thing I will say is the Chicago Blackhawks, after they traded Patrick Kane, they traded Max Domi, they traded 3 more players. They now currently have 16 draft picks in the first 3 rounds for the next 3 years. That's very good for a rebuilding franchise, that's a very positive thing. You traded away all your talent, hoping that you are going to lose this year and get that generational player that's coming out of this draft that's going to go number 1 in Connor Bedard. And to say matters even crazy is yesterday was the first Blackhawks game since all these trades. They brought up like 7 people from the AHL, most of the people I've never even heard of. They beat the number 1 team in the NHL 5-0. And I was just like, what the fuck? How does that happen?
Bizarre.
Like that's hockey for you right there. I mean, it's not going to happen all the time. They're going to start losing. I have full confidence in that. But one thing, and I wanted to call her out on here, the podcast mom, JB, your mom, brought it up with Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's first game in New York was Saturday. Saturday. They brought in 2,000 jerseys of Patrick Kane's to the arena. They sold out all 2,000 before the game even started. They brought in the first day 7,000 jerseys all throughout New York. All of them sold out. Every single Patrick Kane jersey sold out. So the hype was ready. They were happy. He got a standing ovation when he was announced in New York. They lost the game, and social media tore Patrick Kane apart. And it
was his fault.
The first thing I said, and I apologize to anybody who's a New York fan because I don't like any team in New York, but the fact that you jumped all over him after his first game with a new team in 16 years, thinking that the guy is not going to be nervous or something like that.
It was been 16 years?
16 years he was with the Blackhawks, man. He was here. He was drafted at 17 years old. It's insane. And the fact that you just booed him off of the ice because, and all the media was saying was like, wow, he's a horrible defender. And the first thing I'm saying is like, do you guys know anything about hockey? He isn't a defender. He isn't. You drafted him, or you traded for him because he is a dominant offensive force. He doesn't play defense, you morons. I don't know why you keep jumping on him because he's not playing. He didn't play defense here either, and he won 3 Stanley Cups. It's up to you as the New York Rangers organization to put a unit around him that's going to play defense for him while he puts all your offensive numbers up. It's clear as day with that one, but they're too stupid, and they're putting all the offensive talent all on one line, thinking that you're going to get the Harlem freaking Globetrotters. You don't get that shit in hockey, people. So that was my Hawk talk for the day. If you're going to keep jumping on Patrick Kane and he wants to come back here next year, hey, welcome him back with open arms.
Fan off, Frank.
Morons in New York.
As they said in life, New York. Well, let's go on here. Let's get to it's about that time. Shit.
Scott just put up a nice one right here. Yeah, Philly has some horrible fucking people too.
Oh no.
East Coast. Let's get to some shout outs. Go ahead, Frank. You on the road.
All right. Shout out to Mr. Fred Miller. Hey man, he put some insight in me that I didn't even think about. Like, I always talked offensive linemen and their footwork and everything like that. Never once did I think about how their stance is and where their foot is in general. Like, that was a very nice insight. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I mean, it was a little quiet today. We didn't have our usual loudmouth people on there. Like Scott, you just chimed in, and you've even been a little quiet until you just started now, but it's nice seeing everybody on the chat. You guys, love being on here with you. And even our new little podcast pal right next to Foulmouth right there. Gotta love him.
Little girl glue.
Him and his little...
That means go Bears.
Go Bears in his language, for sure. I'm also going to give a shout out to Terrence. I know he was watching. He had spent a little bit more time with his dad. Love for his dad who came home today. So hoping for a fast recovery, and he's doing well, man. That's everything I got.
All right, JB.
I just want to echo that sentiment. Everybody, thank you for your love, kind words, and prayers for Terrence and his dad. Bro, we there with you in spirit and in real life. Just continue to love and pray and get better. So shout out to Terrence and his family. I wanted to give a special shout out to one of our chat members, Jeremy Bowman. Saw that name, I thought, before a while back, but came in with some interesting quotes, gave us that insight about Derek Carr. Absolutely. There you go. Thank you for that, Jeremy. I also had a question that we didn't get to answer because we didn't get to our controversy segment. How do you feel about Lamar being tagged for less than Daniel Jones and Derek Carr? You're going to have to tune into another show, not called the CCP, to find out our answer for that, because we're going to stay with the words bull and
shit.
Hey, Frank, thank you. So, Jamie, there you go with that. But thank you for chiming in. Ann Stewart, one of our P1s, welcome back. Jesse Cortrell, good to see you, brother. Trey 5 is a new guy. Welcome. Darren Snodgrass, welcome. Our boy Easy jumped on, but then he didn't jump on. So, hey, shout out to that guy, Frank O'Dowd. He's a cool cat.
Dude, he's stud, man.
I rock with him. Dion Hall, brand new. Thank you. Gave us the Jaylen Hyatt information about definitely being on his radar. I always say Scott lost half of his workday at the trade show. Okay. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you coming back.
Appreciate that, Scott.
Love having you.
Always love. And shout out to Fred, man. Like, whatever. I say this, and it kind of goes underrated throughout the league. People, offensive linemen are some of the smartest football players on the field. They not just big grunts like, me block. No, like these guys know what the quarterback is doing. They know what the left guard, the right guard, the center. They damn near know every position on the offensive side of the ball and what's going on with the front seven in front of them coming at them.
They're supposed to. They're supposed to know.
Well, most of the ones we talk to, because every lineman that we've had on the show has known exactly.
We haven't had current offensive linemen on this show because I don't see that shit now.
I know you want to play that commercial so bad, but we're not gonna do it. We're gonna stay. We're gonna hold on, man.
I'm not playing it.
We're gonna stay cold turkey right now. We're gonna give it up until we don't have to give it up. And then shout out to you guys, man. Always a fun show with my brothers. And shout out to moms, man. Like, if we only have one person watching the show, you know my mom is watching the show. So shout out to you, Mom. Love you.
Okay. That was great, JB. Mine's going to be a little long-winded today. Yeah, y'all can go ahead and play the goddamn violin. Somebody got to be T-Nick.
At least you admit that it's going to be long. T-Nick would just admit it's
yeah, he's just going there. I'm just saying. Okay, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. Also, remember, everyone out there, please like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Okay, like I said, leave comments. If there's anything that you guys think that we need to improve on and that you would like to see more of, please leave it in the chat, and we'll damn sure try our hardest to make sure that we're able to accomplish that for you.
I want to lay one out there for everyone who's watching, though. If it's going to be foul mouth to watch his mouth, just don't even put it, because that's not happening. That won't happen. Nope. Not happening. Just thought
we've tried.
we will not honor that. We crushed. I want to give a shout out to you, brothers. Frank the Tank, JB. It's always a pleasure. We know T. Nick, he's probably in the background watching. Prayers up for you and your dad. And your family, sending our prayers to you guys. Shout out to our special guest today, Mr. Fred Miller, who gave us great insight on the offensive line position. What we hoping that we will be able to see from future offensive linemen with the Chicago Bears. Man, I'm praying that we hoping we see that. And they are as smart as Mr. Fred Miller is. I want to give a shout out to the kiddies who should be in the bed to sleep. Hoping that they sleep. not gonna bother them tonight. Also, I want to give a shout out to my baby girl Mia, whose birthday
Oh, it's
was.
her birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was her birthday yesterday. So shout out to her. Mwah, mwah. 17
She
years
shouldn't be
old.
laughing right now, though. She should be sleeping.
Nah, she probably she,
No,
shit.
she's 17, man. She
Yeah,
ain't
she's
sleep.
17
Yeah,
years
very
old.
true. She's a
She
little
wants a fucking nose piercing. I don't know where the fuck that come from. So I don't know. Me and her mama got to talk. That's going to have to be a discussion. Also want to give a shout out to this one is more of a difficult one. I want to give a shout out to the King, Canada Stevens family. Uh, my fiance, she lost her oldest sister last week, Wednesday. And family's been going through a difficult time, so I want to give a shout out to them. Her sister was someone that I love. She was a sister of mine as well. Going to dearly miss her. Sending a shout out to you all the way from here to heaven, baby girl. Love you, Pudding. And shout out to everybody out there. Remember to like and love each other. Stay safe. And outside of that, shout out to my man Grogu too. He came here, he represented tonight. Shout out to him. So from Frank the Tank, from JB, to our boy T Nick, and my man here, Grogu, we out.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.